Hi guys, welcome back to a new episode. In today's episode we will be looking at Ashiok, Nightmare Muse. So it's a really cool control planeswalker with a +1 that makes a 2/3 blue and black nightmare creature, and whenever this creature attacks or blocks, each opponent exiles the top 2 cards of the library. So it's a nice blocker. -3 returns an opponent to his hand, then they exile a card from their hand. This is really good against enemy tokens because the token will die and then have to remove a card from their hand, so that's a nice interaction. And then the -7 says you may cast up to 3 spells from among face-up cards your opponents own from exile without paying the mana costs. So after your nightmares have been attacking and blocking for a while, you'll be able to accumulate some cards in exile and then be able to cast those spells amongst any other cards they may also have in exile. So this deck is a basic control shell with a lot of really good Dimir cards, and then once you get to the end game, you get to the big boys like Xanathar, Guild Kingpin, which means you can play cards from your opponent's decks, and then Lockmere Serpent to be a good control finisher, because you can flash this in your opponent's turn when they expect you to cast instants and flash this instead. And then even something else called Massacre Worm to wipe out all your opponent's little 1/1s, and this can essentially win you the game just by itself. So yeah, let's see how well we do today in some games of historic Brawl. So we're facing a Niv Mizzet Reborn, which leads me to believe that I think Ashiok Nightmare Muse must be in the higher brackets in the game, which means we're being faced against the tougher tier 1 opponents. We've got a decent hand. But yeah, in my previous testing, Ashiok keeps coming across Sithis, Golos and Niv Reborn, which feels pretty rough to be fair. I don't really feel like Ashiok Nightmare Muse is that powerful, but I guess people are building him in very strong ways. So yeah, we'll leave the double blue up for counter magic here. Field of the Dead is always something nasty that you don't want to see. Slightly odd inclusion in a deck that needs 5 colours there, but yeah, we'll keep holding up the counter spell. So they missed a land drop, which is good for us. So now we can try and resolve a Maze-Bind Tome, which would be useful to resolve as it gets us a lot more cards, but we'll see what they do. Quandrix Command. Yeah, I'm tempted to counter that just because the Maze-Bind Tome offers us a lot of cards, 4 in total, over time. So by keeping that around, it's going to help against the opponent's card advantage. And the opponent is not looking so great with their land colours as well, so they look a bit stuck there. And yeah, sometimes you just get lucky versus the Niv deck. But yeah, that was an unfortunate one for the opponent, obviously missing a land drop. Moving on to the next one. Right, so we're facing a Torbrun mono red aggro deck, and our starting hand is it's got a lot of 2-drops, so I think I'm going to keep it here. Bit risky not having the 3rd land, but we get to go first, so we can resolve our counters a bit more efficiently. Going second with a counter style deck isn't good because your opponents play their land before you, and therefore they can get their bigger drops out before you can stop them. Nice, so that's just what we wanted there, a dual land, so we can pass the turn again. We want to be tactical about what we counter here. We can't really afford to counter everything, so we're going to have to try and hit the big things. Just like playing any format with control, you have to be tactical in what you counter. So yeah, again, we're just going to pass the turn back to ourselves. As long as we keep getting these land drops, we should be good. So the following turn, if we don't hit a land, I might Silent Blood to draw to ensure we hit a land. Subira, okay. So what should we do? We could bounce it. Yeah, we could bounce it and save the other spells for more threatening things. So it will slow them down by a little bit. Okay. So we don't hit a land, so now we're going to have to take a risk with the Silent Blood here. Nice, and luckily we do hit a land. So once again, we're going to pass a turn with some responses up. The opponent resolving a Torburin is dangerous, so we definitely don't want that to happen just yet. But every turn that a control player earns is another turn you're alive. So against aggression, you want to be the long game, obviously, keeping your life total fairly high. Obviously, you can still win as long as you have one life, but you don't want to die to like a random lightning bolt. So staying above 3 or 4 life is normally where you want to be safe. So this is what I call a bait spell. The opponent took a long time there to wonder what to cast, and yeah, we're going to memory lapse this back to their hand. So a bait spell is a spell that you might want to cast to get a counter spell out of someone's hand, and by doing that, you're saving the better cards in the hand. So yeah, it was a good move there. So what should I do? I mean, I could go for the Ashiok. Will it die? Yeah, I'll tell you what, let's go for the Ashiok and make a 2/3 blocker. They could pump a lot of resources into trying to kill the Ashiok here, but that's fine with me. Obviously they can go for the same thing again, giving it haste. It comes in as a 5/2 with haste, but then we just block it, and then Ashiok takes 1 from the Tin Street Dodger. There could be a number of other ways for them to kill Ashiok. By putting the Paladin back on top, we may have stagnated their land drop as well, so it's always a thought. There is another nice synergy with Memory Lapse. When you put the spell on top of your opponent's deck, if you then have a Nightmare you can attack with, when you attack, you're obviously exiling the top card of their deck, so you're almost like removing that threat from the game, which is really useful. It works aggressively or defensively, so that could be good. So you could put more cards in this deck which act in a similar way to Memory Lapse. So other cards that put creatures on top of their decks could be useful here. Okay, so Rekindling Phoenix, that's not too bad. When that dies... Okay, fair enough. I was looking forward to seeing where that game was going to go, but yeah. I guess the opponent didn't have a way to deal with Ashiok, and therefore would struggle with me making a 2/3 defender every turn, and a hand full of removal, I guess. Moving on to the next one. Okay, so here we are versus a Sithis, so this is going to be a tough tier 1 matchup. And let's hope the opponent doesn't quit too soon. And our starting hand is very nice. 3 lands, ramp, removal, and some advantage. Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, so they have a Leyline of Sanctity to start with me, which means they cannot be the target of spells or abilities. Fair enough. Does Ashiok target players? No, that's fine. Okay, so let's start with the Signet. That is very lucky that the opponent has this Leyline in case we get any Thoughtseize effects. They're going to be completely useless against them now. Okay. So we've got 4 mana open, so let's try and kill the Sithis now. Glad that resolved. She is a severe issue. You have to, as soon as you see her, you have to kill her. Otherwise, the advantage they gain is insurmountable, and you will literally lose the game in 3 or 4 turns. I'm speaking from experience there. She has killed me so many times. Utterly broken general, with no downside. Okay, let's draw a card, and then I guess it's time to kill her again. So yeah, it's only their turn 5 now, and they've already cast their general twice, which is super infuriating. A board wipe would be really good here. Okay, so they have a way to protect their general in the following turn. So many creatures, so board wipe would be really good here. How much mana do we have? 3, 4, 5, 6. What could we do? If we played an Ashiok, made a 2/3. Would they have enough to kill? I think, yeah, I think they've got way too much. So let's go for the Murderous Rider. So we've got a bit of a blocker. And then, yeah, let's make them sacrifice a... Oh, I can't actually target them. Okay, so now that's going to come back to bite us in the arse. I guess this is a good time to exile something we don't want to exist, so... Yeah, let's go for the Starfield Mystic here. Yeah, so that was annoying because it gave them a discount on enchantment and it would get bigger each time. Here comes the Cetessan Champion. But again, see, playing the Murderous Rider means they don't attack us now, which is pretty nice. They could have some devastating aura to put on the champion the following turn, which is pretty annoying. But yeah, let's try and resolve the Ashiok. If they mana tithe, we still have mana open. Play another blocker. And I think, yeah, we'll Silent Blood to draw some cards, so this should help us refill a little bit. Again, we don't want to attack, we just want to keep on defense. Just have to get lucky and hope the opponent doesn't have any big auras here. So Cetessan Champion is an issue here, being a 7/9. So I presume she will attack with it. Yep. Okay. So yeah, we definitely want to kill this Cetessan Champion here if we get the chance. What can we do? So let's see if we can find a board wipe. That would be the best thing here. Epic Downfall, that's decent. So again, luckily they don't have any mana open, so they don't have a way to use the Alseed here. And so we've got 4 mana open. If I tick up, we get another blocker. So I think, yeah, we do that. It was tempting to remove the bird. Sorcery. This. So yeah, let's go for the discovery to hopefully find something else here. Okay, yep, still no board wipe, so let's bin both of those. Notion Rain, that'll be good in the following turn. We still can't use Chainer's Edict, so we're going to have to pass here. So it's not looking too good. I still don't feel safe because they have the flyer there. That's risking, being a risk to Ashiok. Mothra. Oof. Okay. So whenever a creature with that flying dies, return to the battlefield under its control with a flying counter on it. Okay. So we might have to go to full control if they attack with Alseed. Okay, fair enough. So they're not choosing to attack with anything else. Let's exile something from the graveyard and draw a card. Guardian Idol. Ashiok goes to 2. Ooh, Eat to Extinction. That's a nice card. So the best thing to do is uptick with Ashiok here. Yeah, let's Notion Rain. We might get some other good removal. Scarab God. Yeah, not really bothered about Scarab God. Doesn't seem to be helpful. Just need more removal. Ooh, Soul Shatter's pretty good. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana open. So we can't play Extinction and Soul Shatter, so we might as well go for some ramp. And then in their turn, they're going to have access to Alseed, so I think the best thing to do is to Eat to Extinction the Mothra now. Lockmere Serpent still doesn't cut it. We can get it back with the flashback kind of ability there. You can pay blue and black to exile 5 cards from opponent's graveyard to return it to your hand. So yeah, I've tried to put in a lot of cards in this deck that utilises the graveyard. So even late game you don't have much to do. You can try and put stuff from your graveyard back into play or... Okay. So So Ashiok goes back to the command zone. Luckily we can recast him. And this is when I was talking about in the deck tech how bouncing a token is great because they lose a token and a card in their hand and they can't recast those things. So that was a really nice thing to do there. So luckily Soul Shatter says each opponent rather than target opponent, so this does get around any sneaky stuff they want to pull. Luckily they still can't cast their general. Oh, Nylea, is she online yet? So not quite. So they're passing to us, which means, yeah, let's use the most mana we can. So we'll draw a card. Oh, nice, yeah, beat the Sithis player. That feels incredibly good. That would have been a really tough matchup if they had access to more mana. But clearly there, our board state indicates that, yeah, we're in a commanding position, more mana, keep activating Ashiok. But yeah, very lucky against the Sithis player. So going second versus a Magda is normally pretty scary. However, we do have a Fatal Push, which is going to be able to kill her, and an Augur of Bolus to give us a bit of ground defense as well. So this could work out quite nicely. If we get to Scarab God or okay, Gear Hulk, that would be fantastic. Start with the Swamp. I'm guessing they're going to cast Magda on turn 2 here. Okay, they're going to go for Dwarves instead. So yeah, we still want to kill that. I can't believe that Mono Red has found a way to weaponize 7 Dwarves. Normally in any other deck this wouldn't be that good, but the fact is I guess they can all pump each other up and yeah, they're an early threat. So let's go for Augur of Bolus here. I might miss, but we get Silent Blood. That's a great hit. So I don't normally like Augur of Bolus because it doesn't get you a land, but it is a nice card to just act as a defender versus Magda, so they can't really attack safely. Saying that, I am still going to make them sacrifice Magda because it is super annoying. And okie dokie. Nice one. So that's how to beat a Magda player. Just kill Magda. Moving on to the next game. Okay, so we're facing a mono green Selvala ramp deck. So let's see how we do against this. Starting hand's decent. Got a way to kill their general. Got a bit of ramp and a bit of kill. So yeah, resolving a Massacre Worm could be basically game winning in this game, especially with how many little creatures they've got. Here comes Selvala. So unless they play big creatures, they're not going to be drawing much from that, but we do want to kill it. And we might as well do a bit of draw as well. We would like to get a Swamp. Yeah, Swamp seems good. But we do need a third Swamp, so that's why I got rid of that island. Vivian comes out, so luckily we do have Murderous Rider.
Every mutation displays nature's ingenuity. Diversity is our greatest strength.
So yeah, let's kill the Vivian here.
Time to lick my wounds.
And we can hold up the Anticipate to see if what the opponent does. We can get our next card depending on what they do. So it's always important to hold off draw spells until the very end of your opponent's turn, because you could happen to choose a card, let's say with this type of effect, that you don't need. So board wipe would be good. Go for sack a creature effect. Silumgar's Command. Okay, that's good. So we can use this to return something and give something -3. So we'll bounce this and we'll kill the Sylvala. Here comes Tusky. So luckily for us, our Massacre Worm does get around that. And the Dark Ritual does assist us in this endeavour. That was an incredibly lucky top deck there. And then we might as well make them sack as well, because you can't be picky with sack effects. You just have to kind of let them go off, because obviously with other creatures, sack effects get worse. The opponent would have chosen the Grazer either way. Traxos. It's annoying, but we can deal with it. Just bounce it to their hand. So unfortunately mono green is a bit soft to blue black, because we have many ways to deal with this with their creatures. Massacre Worm is just a very delicious board wipe, as it can kill them in 3 different ways essentially. So the opponent might have a hexproof spell here, so we have to be cautious. However, I think we can just make them sack a creature with Chainer's Edict here. So again, the flashback proving to be incredibly effective. And yeah, that's enough to win the game there. So here we are at the end of the road versus a Golos. Let's see if we can take them on. It's going to be a nightmare, but our starting hand is fairly decent. The main issue with Golos is the fact that it always gets the same bloody land out, which gives them zombies, so they have mulligan a lot. I think they've kind of gone to 4, I think? 5, okay. So, let's get some lands on top. Notion Rain is nice, at least like that. Going versus Huge. If they ramp 1 or 2 times, they can get such an early Golos, so that is something to be wary of. Turn 3 Notion Rain will be really nice to just refill our hand. And we have a Blue Sun Zenith late game to gain card advantage, which is the best we can hope for versus a Golos player. I would really love to get a Null, really, in order to counter it for 1 blue. We get a Stun Dismissal, but I don't think that's going to cut it versus a Golos deck. We can bounce it, but they just get to replay it. We could cling to dust our own card just to draw an extra card here. Feed the Swarm, not too bad. Tezzera's Gambit. So yeah, let's risk in for the Ashiok. We have to be a bit risky in order to gain advantage here. Surprisingly, they haven't ramped at all yet, so they're going to go for a turn 4 Golos. Cultivate makes it the same numbers either way. But we do have to contend with Golos the following turn. Do we have any counter spells in hand? We don't, so here we go. Let's see if we can contend. Looks like they're running the Dragon combo in this deck, which, if you don't know, is Terror of the Peaks plus there's another dragon that combos. When it comes in, it brings dragons from your graveyard to play. Liliana, oof, sure.
The undead make great minions.
So, yeah. Get rid of those 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, let's use the Sun Zenith here to draw 3. Always seems to be 3, doesn't it, when we use this? What do you guys think of Blue Sun Zenith? Is it worth running in the decks? Or do you think it's too slow for 1v1? What have they got exiled? Terror of the Peaks. So we could exile Liliana. Well, try to bounce it and make them exile. What other ways have we got? We've got Soul Shatter. That works. And then we could go for Thief of Sanity. They haven't played anything scary yet, which is really confusing. Normally they've got like 3 or 4 threats that need to immediately be dealt with already. It seems to be quite a modest Golos deck. They probably are looking to kill Thief of Sanity, because if I play their spells, we win the game, knowing what a Golos player has. So yeah, I will bounce the Golos to their hand. Anything to take them off their 7 mana ultimate, let's call it, is going to be worth it here. Has I got a reach? No. So first thing I'm going to do is swing in. Oh, this could be good. Yeah, so essentially, if you didn't know why the opponent conceded there, he's -7. I can cast spells from Exile without paying the mana cost, so 3 spells, and in his graveyard he had a Vorinclex and a Chair of the Peaks, so that would have been a very fast clock there. So yeah, we finally beat a Golos player, so that feels pretty good. I wonder if we can ever do it again though. If you guys enjoyed watching these videos today, don't forget to check out my other videos on my channel. And most of all, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this.